Kim Hongdo, also known as Danwon, was a painter from the Korean Joseon dynasty. He was a key figure of the new trend of painting emerging at this time. He painted landscapes, flowers and birds, as well as Buddhist paintings. But what he's mostly remembered nowadays is for his depiction of the everyday life of ordinary people during the Joseon dynasty. It is somewhat rare to find scenes from the lives of the common people of Joseon, who were called Sangmin. Kim Hongdo also wrote poetry. Kim Hongdo was born in Ansan-shi to a middle-class family. His teacher was Gang Se-hwang. Gang Se-hwang helped develop the Jin-gyong-san-su, true-view landscape style of painting, which was used specifically to portray Korean scenery. He also pushed for acceptance of Western painting methods. In 1766, Gang Se-hwang recommended Kim Hongdo, who was now 21 years old, to the court, and thus Kim Hongdo entered the royal service as a member of the Do Hwa So, official painters' bureau of the Joseon court. Kim Hongdo became a government officer which oversaw the management of gardens, flowers, and fruit in the Danwon So. He was a byolje, a sixth-rank official. He made a name for himself in the flower garden early on. He quickly moved to the Sapo So government office, which was in charge of the royal family gardens and vegetable cultivation. He was tasked to paint scenes of court events and of King Yeongjo, as well as his grandson, future King Jeongjo. He painted a portrait of Jeongjo when he was crown prince in 1773. Jeongjo himself became a patron of Kim Hongdo and allowed him to reach his full potential by entrusting all matters concerning paintings to him when he became king. In 1784, he painted Danwon-do and officially started to use the title Danwon. In 1791, he was appointed governor of Yeonpung in Chungcheong province. During that time, he drew portraits of the common folk, Minjung. His own style was preponderant in these later works and showed less influences from Chinese paintings. In 1795, he was dismissed from his post as governor due to a report that stated that he abused the people and acted as a go-between for others. He moved to Hanyang and worked as a painter. He still served as a government official and engaged in privately commissioned works. Although he was one of the most famous painters of his time, he was poor and his health was poor as well. When King Jeongjo passed away in the year 1800, Kim Hongdo also lost his main supporter. He wrote a letter in December of 1805, and that's the last time that he's recorded in history. It is assumed that he passed away in 1806. Kim Hongdo painted well over 700 pieces. His style was from the Southern School of Painting, Namjung-hwa. It's a term used to denote art which stands in opposition to the more formal Northern School of Painting. It's not a geographic distinction. It relates to style and contents of works. Southern School painters focus on expressive brushstrokes and more impressionistic approach than the Northern School's formal attention to detail and use of color and somewhat more refined modes and methods. Gyeojang-gakdo, painting of Gyeojang-gak Pavilion. The Gyeojang-gak was a space for storing the handwritings of the deceased King Yeongjo. This painting gives a good idea of the style of landscape paintings Kim Hongdo produced in his early days. Pyongan Gamsahyang-hyeondo, banquet hosted by the governor of Pyongan province, the series of 3 official paintings. There's an incredible amount of detail present in these paintings, so much in fact that it would require a whole video just to go through just one of these. The first 2 paintings show 2 banquets in 2 different pavilions. The third painting shows a procession of boats under the moonlight. Pyongan-do was a province during the Joseon dynasty. Gunseon-do Byongpung, the 19 Taoist immortals. Originally, an 8-panel folding screen picturing immortals associated to Buddhism and Taoism. It's now been rearranged in 3 hanging scrolls. It's 5 meters long. There's a legend that there are heavenly peach trees that grow on the slopes of Mount Kunlun in China. If one eats the fruit, which grows every 6,000 years, one will extend his or her lifespan by 60,000 years. In the painting, we can see a woman who ate a peach that she displays proudly on her left shoulder. The donkey can carry its master wherever he wishes in mere seconds. Another immortal has a pair of clappers that can bring the dead back to life. Lao Cha is riding on a one-horned cow. Another immortal, Dong Bang Sak, is holding another big peach. Koreans believed that he lived 180,000 years. His name nowadays means long-lived. The legend of the peaches of immortality were popularized in the novel Journey to the West. Danwon Pungsok Dochop, Danwon's folklore picture book, an album of 25 genre paintings depicting the everyday life of ordinary people. The paintings are around 28 by 24 centimeters. Their focus is on the subject matter and not the background. They are more informal paintings. Color is used sparingly. Sodang, a village school. This is a regular village school. One kid seems to be teased by others after failing to recite what he memorized from the lesson. The teacher is wearing a bangwan, which is typical of Confucian scholars. The instructor's table is empty, suggesting that he's so experienced that he doesn't need reference material to teach. One student can be seen trying to whisper the answer to his friend. But alas, this will not do, and the poor boy is starting to untie his ankle bands in preparation for his punishment. Notice the rod to the left of the teacher, which he uses to punish students by hitting them on their calves. Non-gari, plowing a rice field. Farmers are doing really hard work with a smile. Hwalsogi, shooting an arrow. An archer seems to be having difficulties. Another is looking at how straight his arrow is. The other apprentice strings his bow. Sirum, Korean traditional wrestling. The busiest painting in this book. Notice the yacht, taffy seller. I like how one spectator removed his shoes to be more comfortable. There's some theatricality in how this is depicted. We can see the faces of all characters but one. A Korean wrestling event is an open competition where all people can join in and challenge another spectator. Hangsang, peddling. The man and the woman are about to part ways to go peddling on their own. Mudong, a dancing boy. We can feel the motion as well as hear the sounds of the hegum, piri, degum, jangu, and the drum, bok. It's a composition method that's comprised of 6 members called the Samhyeon Hyukgak. Interestingly, the mudong system was introduced during the reign of King Sejong, when mudong were used for dancing and singing instead of kiseng, to prevent debauchery in government officials during banquets that were anyways mostly attended by men. Usually this ensemble sits in a straight line, but they sat in a semi-circle to please the spectator on this occasion. Giwa Iki, roof tiling. I like how the man at the bottom left throws tiles to the man on the roof. Also notice the man checking how straight the pillar is with one eye closed. Daejangan, a blacksmith's workshop. We can hear the metallic sounds and see the inflated muscles of one of the worker. Notice the man at the bottom sharpening a worn-out tool and the jjigae-looking tool at the bottom left. No sangwaan, going out for a picnic. The scholar smiles at the family, probably more so at the woman. He's riding a female donkey that's being guided by a barefoot boy. It's somewhat surprising to see that the father isn't on the cow and he's also carrying a baby. Jomgwe, alms gathering. This painting depicts monks or street entertainers dressed as such, asking for alms by selling amulets and paper talismans. Narutpe, two boats. We can see people of different social classes. They might be heading to the market or coming back from it. Jumak, a tavern. We can see a middle-aged couple at an inn for a meal and a drink, taking a break from their travels. The innkeeper is scooping makgeolli with a ladle. Makgeolli is a raw rice wine that's typically unpasteurized. It usually has 6 to 9% alcohol content. Gonu Nori, a Gonu game. Farmers taking a break from hard work to play Gonu. Gonu Nori is a traditional board game. All that is needed to play is a dirt floor, twigs, and stones. Palleto, a wash place. Notice the scholar peeping at the women doing their laundry in the stream. Umulga, a well. The man is showing his chest without hesitation, but notice how the women shyly look away. The painting alludes to the segregation of the sexes during the Joseon dynasty. Tempe solgi, shredding tobacco leaves. I cannot shake the feeling that it's really hot. It's most probably the middle of summer. Jarichaki, weaving a mat. It depicts a family where the mother is spinning, the father is weaving, and the child is reading a book. Notice the stick the boy is holding to help read aloud his day's lesson. One can't help but think about how much hope the parents have in their son to succeed in his studies so he doesn't have to be a weaver like his parents. Pyotajak, rice threshing. We can see a group of workers under the watch of a man, probably the landowner, who's smoking a long bamboo pipe. It's not really a critique of class struggles though, as most workers seem quite happy to do their work. Except that one fellow. Gurim Gamsang, appreciating a painting. Although we cannot see an actual painting, we can see their faces which show all kinds of emotions. Gilsam, weaving. Notice the grandmother watching intently at the mother's work. Pyonjabaki, shoeing a horse. Depicts an interesting way of shoeing a horse, especially if we compare to how it is done today. Gogi Japi, fishing. Fish was, and still is, an important part of Koreans' diet. Notice the water birds gathering near the fisherman. Shinheng, on the way to the wedding. This picture depicts the groom heading to the bride's house for a wedding ceremony. He's riding a white horse. The woman behind him is possibly the matchmaker. Notice the man holding a wooden duck. Mandarin ducks represent peace, fidelity, and many offsprings. Jumshim, lunchtime. A beautiful scene of people eating, a woman nursing her baby, and a dog waiting patiently for some food. Jangtogil, on the way to a market. The horses are not carrying any load, so it seems like the merchants sold all their wares. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Hope to see you again for more videos on the rich history of Korea.